everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Agnes, and I want to thank you for listening to my broadcast on Bringing Up Christian. The title is based on my forthcoming book with that title. It is dedicated to helping parents traverse the road of parenthood successfully. Today's commentary is about the American family. A few days ago, I was going into my local post office when I heard a child's loud voice cursing, using the most vile language, totally inappropriate for an adult, not less a child. I turned to see a child of about 10 years of age kicking and screaming at a man who I presumed was his father. At first I thought there may have been a problem, but on a second glance I realized that the child was talking to his father and being totally disrespectful. I just looked at his father, who was trying to placate this child, and just shook my head. I thought to myself that this would never have occurred in my home. Never. What is happening to the children in our country? Why are parents cowering to these tyrannical little urchins? Well, I think that there is a total breakdown in the American family structure. Children don't know their place, as my grandmother used to say. The question is always, who is the parent and who is the child? With the advent of permissive parenting, promulgated by Dr. Benjamin Spock in his book, Common Sense Baby and Child Care, first published in 1946, our country has seen a meltdown across the board of our American society, morals and values. Unfortunately, we are in decline as a culture and falling into a chasm of chaos and anarchy in our homes. Dr. Spock told a generation of parents that it wasn't necessary to teach their children self-control and respect for authority. He told parents that it was more important to accommodate children's feelings and cater to their whims rather than impose discipline. Adhering to the Spock philosophy promoted self-indulgence rather than instilling self-control. American homes became child-centered rather than family-centered. With children becoming increasingly more powerful in the home, they became more belligerent, more outspoken, more disrespectful, and more demanding. Children began to feel a sense of entitlement. Our children have become self-indulgent, selfish, and out of control. The ability to control oneself is what differentiates us from animals. Being able to control oneself is what prevents us from becoming murderers, thieves, and pedophiles. Parents do themselves, society, and most of all their children a disservice when they do not instill these values. It is only common sense to conclude that a population that is not in control of its passions is destined to moral disintegration. We have only to look at the violent crime rates, which have more than tripled since the 1960s. One has only to read their local newspaper to hear about the crimes that were unheard of a few decades ago. It has become commonplace to read about children who are raping and murdering their fellow classmates, their teachers, and even their parents. Our culture has become so demoralized and degraded that children are no longer safe in their homes, their schools, and even in their churches. With the baby boomers and their children, American society has gone into decline. The rise of the sexual revolution and feminism have made children a casualty of those movements. Promiscuity has become so rampant in our nation that 1 of 4 of every teenage girl today has a sexually transmitted disease. In the past 50 years, the number of STDs has risen from 5 to 50, an increase of 1,000%. Our obsession with sexual violence, assault, has had a 318% increase. Out of wedlock births has gone from single digits and now into the stratosphere. Preliminary data that 40.7% of all 2012 births were out of wedlock. There are vast differences among racial and ethnic groups. Among non-Hispanic blacks, the figure is highest, at 72.2%. For American Indians and Native Americans, it is 66.9%. 53.5% for Hispanics, 29.4% for non-Hispanic whites, and 17.1% for Asians. Because of the permissive parenting espoused by the gurus of the 1960s, which fostered an over-exalted sense of importance in children, our homes and children became places of entitlement and self-indulgence. The crime rate increased and the SAT scores declined. Children need to adhere to standards, practice self-control, and parents need to stop promoting this culture of narcissism and hedonism. Of course, children need love, affection, and encouragement in order to develop into a whole person. It is through parenting that a person develops a worldwide view. How we approach our fellow man and how we conduct ourselves in society as compassionate and civil human beings. This is my commentary for today. Each week I will do a commentary and I will address issues that are impacting our family and our nation. Because without strong families, our nation will disintegrate into chaos. I am a Christian and I look at all things through a biblical worldview. Because I believe that when we as a nation threw God out of our public square, our nation declined. Well, this is the end for today. And I hope that wherever you are having a blessed day and a wonderful day. And the weather has finally changed. It is now spring. I hope you and your family get out and do something. Now, stop listening to the television and children playing with all the computers and iPads and all those electronic gadgets. Get out and play.